Hi everybody, Jenny Hoagland, Classical Homeopath here. I wanted to talk to you today about the difference between conventional medicine and homeopathy. And I also wanted to tell you just a little bit about the history of homeopathy, because a lot of people think that homeopathy is a new age modality, maybe think it has something to do with herbs or something that has been newly developed. But actually, homeopathy has been around since the 1700s. It was originally developed in Germany by a German physician named Samuel Hahnemann, who was really quite disgusted at the time by the barbaric practices that he saw conventional doctors performing, bloodletting, mercury treatments, things like that. And he realized that people weren't really getting better. It was causing a lot of what we call suppression and actually hurting more people than it was helping. So he developed the system of homeopathic medicine, and it has been very popular in Europe, India, and at the beginning of the 1900s was very popular in the United States. Many of the medical schools in the United States actually were homeopathic medical colleges or had homeopathic departments. And so it was only really with the development of the American Medical Association that homeopathy went away a little bit, because conventional medicine came forward as a business model to make money, and homeopathy really is an enemy of any medical system that wants to make a lot of money, because homeopathy is in the business of really helping people to get better. And once somebody is healed, they're not going to be a lifelong customer. So that's a little bit about the history of homeopathy, very brief history. But I want to talk a little more about the difference between conventional medicine and its approach to health and healthcare as opposed to the homeopathic approach. So a typical experience in our world, if we go to the conventional doctor, is we go with a set of symptoms or an illness, and the doctor says, oh, well, gosh, we don't want you to have that illness or those symptoms. Here, take a medication to stop the symptoms, and then you won't have them anymore. So we take the medicine, maybe the symptoms go away, maybe they don't, but what usually happens if they do go away is something called suppression. The removal of the symptoms has not cured the underlying imbalance. It hasn't cured the problem in our system that was producing the symptoms. And so it's a bit like taking the batteries out of the beeping smoke alarm. It removes the immediate problem, but when we don't investigate the root cause, when we don't look for the fire, things can get out of control pretty quickly. And so typically with this type of suppression, we will soon experience other symptoms coming on a different level. One example is the asthma-eczema connection. When we take our child to the doctor for eczema, put a steroid cream on, the eczema may go away, but in a couple months asthma develops. This is because there's that connection between the respiratory and the skin systems of the body. The body is indeed a whole, and so whenever we suppress on one level, it has to come out on another level. So a much different experience then in healthcare is going to see a homeopath, where all symptoms are viewed as clues to the underlying imbalance that's happening within the system. All the symptoms on physical, mental, and emotional levels are considered. And so after an in-depth interview, the homeopath selects one remedy that matches everything that the individual is experiencing. And when the remedy is given to the patient, it stimulates the patient's system to heal itself. So homeopathic remedies are not treating conditions, they aren't addressing symptoms only. What they're doing is stimulating each individual's own innate healing capacity, which is why they are so wonderfully effective. Our bodies are completely capable of healing themselves. And so when we're able to use homeopathy and tap into that, phenomenal things can happen on all levels, and health can be restored physically, mentally, and emotionally. And that's really why I love homeopathy and why I'm a homeopath. So I hope that explains to you just a little bit about the difference between conventional medical care and homeopathy. Thanks.